What's up, everybody? I'm Emmanuel E-Man Noisette, and today we're going to talk about Season 3, Episode 6 of From. We've got some interesting developments to talk about with this episode, and we are definitely going to dig into that. And I've got a little mini theory that I want to share with you all too. But first, I've got to give some quick shout outs to some of you out there. Olanda, thank you so much for the $5 Cash App. And for those of you that are hitting that thank you button at the bottom of this video, I appreciate you guys so much for supporting the channel the way that you do. So thank you, Joanne, Jane Has Game, K Cotton JR, Ray Guns Media, and everyone else who's been supporting financially, or if you're just, leaving your thoughts in the comments, or if you're sharing my video, or if you're just subscribed. I really love it when y'all are subscribed. I really do. But thank you all for all of that support. Wait, hold up. What? Did y'all hear that? What did y'all say? I could have sworn I just heard somebody say, E-Man, where can I get some of that new From merchandise that you've got on? Ho! Well, I'm glad you asked. Don't worry. All you got to do is check the links in the description. I've got all the From merch for you right there. But y'all know what time it is. Previously on From. Fatima has finally confessed to Ellis that she enjoys 3 square meals of straight trash every day. Victor started to remember that Christopher's dummy called Jasper could be the key to getting some answers. He later had a touching reunion with his father, Henry. Everyone finally had a town meeting only to berate Tabitha for not doing enough while she was out. Jade and Tabitha went to the bottle tree to figure some things out until Dale showed up thinking that he was the main character of this story who was going to save everybody. But he found himself between a rock and a hard place. All right, let's jump right into this episode. Spoiler alert. The following will contain spoilers for Season 3 of From. Tabitha had a nightmare and Jim gets up to console her. She blames herself for not doing enough when she was in the real world. She snaps at Jim and demands that he be more honest with her. He accuses her of wanting a divorce so that she can deal with the Thomas death alone. But she flipped it back on him and accused him of being a recluse and absorbed in his own work. The arguing continues and they start raising their voices at each other until they can hear one of the monsters outside scream and yell at them to shut the hell up. Jim storms out of the room. Oh man, Mom and Dad are fighting again? Okay, but first, can we give it up for Ian Bailey and Catalina Moreno? I mean, in this scene, they are acting. They are doing such a good job. And I don't know about y'all. I felt the real passion, and I thought the delivery in their performance was actually pretty excellent. But we knew from the very beginning of this episode that Jim and Tabitha, they've had their issues, right? Recall that they were on the verge of a divorce that all stemmed from the death of their baby son, Thomas. But now we're finally seeing what that friction between them really looks like. We've seen little sparks, but now we're really seeing it firsthand. And by the way, I've been to marriage and couples counseling, and I strongly suggest it for anyone, by the way. And no, it's not just for when, things are going bad. It's actually really great for enriching your relationship. But what's going on with Tabitha is what some therapists and experts would call a racket, right? Notice how she started complaining about him simply saying comforting things to her. It's called a racket because it's really just the superficial noise, and it's not really the real issue that's going on. She's not really upset that he's trying to help her and he's trying to make her feel better. That's not what she's upset about. She's more so upset about feeling alone. She felt alone when Thomas died, and she felt alone going off to the lighthouse, looking for answers. Now, Tabitha also had a nightmare, and in classic From fashion, she didn't want to talk about it. What are we doing? What are we doing? Tabitha, what are we doing? We on season 3, episode 6. and you don't want to talk about your nightmare in a place like this? Ma'am, what are you doing? This is a place where dreams actually matter. You better start talking about them. Please and thank you. Now, let me just say, I thought Tabitha was straight tripping when she was, getting on Jim for just really trying to give her some comforting words, right? And listen, she wanted him to be honest. Time out. First of all, fellas, let me talk to y'all for a second. That's a whole trap, okay? That is a trap. That's a do I look fat type of setup. Do not fall for that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give y'all a little advice, a little pro tip from somebody 12 plus years in the marriage game. When you get hit with one of these trick questions, this is what you gotta do. You gotta hit them with a trick answer, okay? And this is what happens. You get hit with that trick question, you look at them deep in their eyes and you just say this: I love you. And that's it. Don't say nothing else. Don't follow up with that's it. Let me tell you something. It works 60% of the time, every time. Thank me later. Now, Jim, hold on now, Jim. We got to talk about you too. Now, you said while she was out there in the real world that you were holding the kids together. Hold on now, Jim. Now, bro. Julie is a whole pothead with PTSD. Ethan literally ran away into the woods. And I mean, how many times did Ethan open up the door when he wasn't supposed to? Jim, this is not the time to play the good parent card. Just put the fries in the bag, bro. Just put the fries in the bag. I don't know what you thought you was trying to pull with that one. Now, Jim said that they could have done things together. Sir, how? How? You not the chosen one? Did you not? What? Together where? Together how? What? You was gonna go through the bottle tree too? It was not for you. Did the boy in white talk to you? Sir, once again, sit down. You don't know what you're talking about right now. But ooh, this argument got heated. Okay, listen. That finger swipe, when she slapped that finger, ooh, and Tabitha turned it up when she called him a coward. Listen. I know this is supposed to be a serious moment, but when I tell y'all I cracked up so hard when Jim karate kicked them covers off of him, you gotta be real mad when you gotta go full ninja on some covers. Oh, see, you know what that is? That's when you were a kid and you all the way upstairs and your parents call you downstairs for some nonsense and you already got comfortable, you warm under the covers and they like, no, come down right now. You just like, That's what Jim felt like right there in that moment. I loved it. And one last thing, the monsters are screaming again. What the heck is going on with that? Now, I'm not sure what this means, but the timing of that scream I thought was perfect. I swear that monster was like, hey, yo, shut the hell up. I'm trying to eat people out here. Later that morning, Julie comes down and mentions the fight between Jim and Tabitha. Tabitha apologizes, but Julie was like, it's all good. Things are getting back to normal anyway. In the bar, Jade and Boyd discuss Tabitha's adventures and the bottle tree. Jade believes it could be a code or maybe even an algorithm. As Jade continues to express some theoretical events, Boyd immediately cuts him off, once again, in true From fashion. And Boyd mentions that there was another bottle tree that he and Sarah found when they went out camping. Jade then asks him for the location of the other bottle tree. I will say this. I do feel a little bad for Julie. I mean, speaking as a parent, you really don't want your kids seeing you fighting, because all that stuff can impact them, right? It can have some sort of effect on them. And I'm sure many of us have seen our own parents fight, probably even worse. I know one thing my wife and I try to do is try to at least make sure that our kids also see us work things out, right? Because listen, conflict is going to happen. If you believe that marriage or relationships are supposed to be conflict free, you're living in a delusional world, right? There's always going to be some sort of conflict, but I do believe that, the other part of that conflict is seeing conflict resolution and seeing it in a healthy way, so like, You know, we do that with our kids. Like, I want to make sure my kids see me talking to my wife in a respectable, mature way, and vice versa, so that way they know how to deal with those type of things, right? And, you know, Jim and Tabitha, they haven't really done that with their kids. Yes, they went to therapy and all that, but I don't think they've really shown them the conflict resolution, you know, internally between themselves, because all these kids have seen is mom and dad fighting. You know, instead they try to, Jim and Tabitha will put on a mask. You know, they'll put on a mask and pretend that everything is okay. You know, I mean, think about it. When we saw them in the very first episode, they were going on a fun little trip, even though they were in the midst of divorcing, you know. But as many of us also know, kids, they can see right through that, right? Kids always know. They just know. And Julie here is no different. She can see right past it. Now, as for Boyd and Jade, now, didn't I tell y'all the biggest clue in From is when the character stops talking or gets interrupted? I swear, Jade was about to stumble onto something until Boyd, once again, Boyd just had to interrupt him. Anyway, I've got a theory about what Jade was talking about, or maybe trying to talk about, but I'll be sharing that with you guys in a separate video. So please, this is a great time to go ahead and subscribe, turn on those notifications by hitting that bell, because I don't want you guys to miss out when I drop that gold later. Anyway, I do like the fact that we're sharing information. I love that. I also love the look on Jade's face whenever he learns new information. Just look at his face. I love that look. And you know what? I take back what I said before, because I was clearly wrong. Town meetings were a terrible idea because people suck. However, I do believe that there should be a new alternative. New town rule. Okay, this is a new town rule. Everybody simply needs to talk to Jade. Just form a single file line and give this man as much information as you can. All the dreams, all the visions, all the creepy kimono ladies, whatever. Talk to Jade, give it to Jade, give him all this info, because I swear he is going to be the one that's going to finally crack the mystery of this place. At the clinic, Kenny brings more supplies for the new ambulance. Boyd checks in on him, but Kenny doesn't feel like talking. Boyd goes in to see how Randall's doing, but Christy stops him and tells him that there is a portable ultrasound machine in the new ambulance. She tells him to bring Fatima around so that they can check up on the demon baby. In the town, Tabitha approaches Donna as she creates a stone memorial to cover up Dale's body in the pool. Donna tells Tabitha not to be like Dale and remember that she's lucky to be here with her family. Victor finds his father in his room. Henry was hoping to spend some time with him, but Victor said that he had something more important to do. Victor then says that what he has to do is pretty dangerous and Henry can at least walk with him. They journey over to the entrance of the monster tunnels. Henry insists to go inside with him. Victor pulls out his toy soldiers to keep them from getting lost and tells Henry to be extremely quiet as they enter the tunnel. You know, look, poor Kenny, you know, he's clearly still hurting, but he's trying to find things to do, you know, trying to keep himself occupied. And I think this is just another way for him to like just cope with his mother's passing. Now, I also like the interaction with Donna and Tabitha. You know, Donna was like, hey, look, you know, Dale was just being, you know, headstrong and he went through the tree and all that stuff and it turned out bad. Don't be like Dale, you know, keep your head up. But I'm like, wait a minute, Donna, where was that? Where was all that supportive energy back at the diner? You could have had her back then, too. Like, you just, what? You know, but anyway, you know, I guess... I guess it's better late than never, you know, but I thought it was kind of interesting how she reacted to the hug from Tabitha. You know, it kind of looked like she was shocked about it. I don't know. Did you guys pick up on something weird when Donna was hugged by Tabitha? Now, as for Victor, did anyone notice back in his room the picture that was on the wall right behind Victor. Now, I just thought that the camera angle was kind of interesting here because, again, this wasn't like a microsecond type of thing. They kind of lingered while Victor was talking and showing you that background. That's like a camera trick usually. I think they wanted us to really pay attention to that big picture in the back. Now, we've seen it before, you know, in previous episodes, but this time with a closer look, I noticed that there were some numbers on it. Now, I couldn't really make out those numbers per se, but now I'm starting to wonder, could those numbers on that drawing, could they maybe correlate with the numbers that we've seen from the bottle tree? If you guys have any thoughts or theories, please let me know in the comments. At Colony House, Ellis urges Fatima to go visit Christy. Fatima is terrified to go and she just refuses. However, Boyd comes to visit and he brings them some good news. Ellis tells Boyd that Fatima's diet is literally trash, and Boyd tells them about the ultrasound machine back at the clinic. Real quick, if you had a chance to watch my interview with Harold Perrineau, he mentioned, and I believe he was talking about this very episode, he mentioned how this episode tapped into one of his personal deepest fears. I think we're seeing that shown with this whole pregnancy situation. Now, listen, as a father, I can definitely relate because I recalled when my wife was pregnant, like as a first-time parent, I was terrified. Okay, like I was nervous about everything. I was worried about like, yo, is she eating enough? Is the baby healthy or not? Just all of that. Like your mind races with all these different worries and stuff. So I can see why Boyd seems so distraught after talking to Ellis and Fatima. Meanwhile, Marielle checks in on Randall to help change his bandages. He requests a mirror to look at his wounded face. Mirror! Kenny is looking for a screwdriver, and as he walks outside, he catches Julie smoking that weed.
Got some?
Don't push it.
Back at Colony House, Elgin continues to act like a whole creep by taking pictures of people to create a collage. He snaps a picture of Fatima before she heads out. Ellis, Boyd, and Fatima go out to the clinic, but Fatima tells them that she doesn't want to tell Christy anything about her demon baby until they really have to. Ooh, did y'all see Randall's face? Yikes. Yikes. My man was out here looking like a combo of Two-Face and the Joker at the same time. Like, ugh. But as for Elgin, I don't like this whole Polaroid camera thing. I'm glad some of you guys pointed this out in the comments of my last video, because I kind of like just went over it. I didn't even think about it as much. But a lot of you pointed out the fact that he took a picture of Julie, but we saw Elgin's picture, but we didn't see Julie's picture. Okay, so now this is something I'm very curious about. Like, I know that we'll get to Fatima's picture a little bit later, but I'm really curious as to what exactly does Julie's picture show. Let me know what you guys think that we might see in her picture. In the woods, Jade visits the other bottle tree. Just then, the old bartender, Tom, appears to him. Tom questions whether the bottle tree means something or if someone just thought that it meant something. Jade disagrees, but Tom reminds him that if he wants to beat this place and figure things out, he needs to sober up. Back in town, Ethan is reading through Tien Chen's book until Tabitha comes home. He asks her if Mr. and Mrs. Liu were happy when they were married. This prompts Tabitha to apologize to Ethan about the fight between her and Jim. Ethan reminisces about the days when they first arrived in the town. Just then, Tabitha hears some noise upstairs. As she goes upstairs to investigate, she's startled by the crusty kids surrounding her without an ounce of lotion in sight. Okay, so just like with Boyd and Father Khatri, Tom seems to be what I believe is a projection of Jade's own subconscious here. You know, he's basically talking to himself, but he sees Tom, you know, as a reflection of that, right? And I think, you know, he made a very simple point. Stop drinking so you can, like, I don't know, think clearly. So obviously this place, you know, and these illusions are a lot to mentally process. So I can understand how it could lead someone to drink, you know. But if you really do want to find the answers to the mysteries going on here, you do need a clear level mind. Now, I don't want to lose this moment with Ethan. Remember how I talked earlier about how like kids can feel the effects of parents and fighting and all of that? Imagine how powerful of a statement Ethan just conveyed here. These are people that are trapped in a town full of monsters that come out at night and rip you to shreds, and this little boy would rather be in a state of petrified fear instead of seeing mommy and daddy fight. That hit me kind of deep. I mean, when you really think about it, even as grown adults, some of us, maybe many of us, are still walking around with the same trauma that we experienced as kids. So to have Ethan feeling this way in this scene, I thought it was just really, really messed up.
Are you okay?
But man, listen, them noises upstairs, I'm glad it was them dusty kids. Because when I heard that noise coming from upstairs, I really thought it was going to be whatever those things were that were moving in the cabins back outside in the woods and all that. Thankfully, it was just them crusty kids. Thankfully. I will say, I'm still kind of curious, though, as to why Tabitha is still afraid of them. Like, what are you afraid of? They haven't done anything to hurt you. They haven't done anything to, like, you know, do you any type of harm. Like, I mean, yes, they look dingy. Yes, they mangy looking. Yes, they raggedy. But I think, you know, if I was seeing these same kids every day, I would just be tired. I'd just be like, okay, you know what? What do y'all want? I ain't got all day. Just uncool. Spell it out. Okay, here's some paper and some pencil. Tell me what the hell y'all want. Donna completes her stone memorial for Dale as Kenny walks up. He asks her if he could move into Colony House. She, of course, obliges. Tabitha continues being a stellar parent by bringing Ethan into a bar. She told Ethan that they could help Jade with his puzzle. Jade tells them about the second bottle tree and how the numbers from the trees actually match up. Back at the clinic, Marielle gives Randall some new bandages. He calls her out for pretending as if everything is okay. She invites him to stay in the clinic rather than being alone on the bus. You know, I actually kind of like what's going on with Kenny here. You know, like it can be really hard to stay in the same house that is full of memories of your loved ones that have passed on, right? So now I don't know if Colony House would be the next best place to move, but a change of scenery, it makes sense, right? I'm kind of curious about Marielle here, though. I mean, we know that her, Julie, and Randall, they were all affected by the cicada monster. Randall has been seeing the actual cicadas again in his hallucinations. Julie, I guess she's hearing screams or whatever.
I would take the creepy kimono woman in a heartbeat over the shit I hear in my head now.
And she's crashing out so bad that she's becoming a pothead. But Marielle, she seems kind of different. You know, we haven't really seen her going through anything. And I still think that she is also suffering, you know, in her own way. But unlike Randall and Julie, I get the suspicion that she's probably better equipped to handle, you know, these terrors because probably because of her previous drug addiction. So in other words, because she's already been battling her own demons for so long, she probably is able to deal with this new demon or whatever just a little bit better compared to the other two. Anyway, that's just my interpretation with what's going on with Marielle, but you all let me know, what do you think is going on with her? Back in the tunnels, Henry and Victor continue looking for Jasper. Victor noticed that a lot of the items have been moved from the last time. He continues to push forward. As they go deeper, Victor sets the toy soldiers in place to mark their way. Henry urges Victor to turn around, but Victor finds all the missing items in another part of the tunnel, which includes Jasper. Oh, and a sleeping monster. Victor collects the dummy, and meanwhile, Henry decided to be a whole dummy himself when he wouldn't shut the hell up after finding his wife's clothing. Because of that, the sleeping monster starts to wake up. Just then, another creepy Karen monster tells Victor to stop coming around these parts or else next time they're gonna make him stay. Henry and Victor quickly skedaddle out of the tunnels. Oh my God. Okay, that was intense. That was intense. This had the same vibes, the same energy of when like Victor and Tabitha were in the tunnels back in season 2, the beginning of season 2. And just like that time, Henry thought he was going to channel his inner Tabitha and just not be quiet. When I tell y'all, every single time Henry opened his mouth, I was yelling at him to shut up. Shut up, sir. Victor told you to wait outside. You didn't have to go in there with him. Plus, you've seen these monsters. You've seen what they can do. If Victor tells you to be quiet and you literally see a huge monster sleeping right in front of you, I know you're not that senile where you can't just be quiet. What is wrong with people? What Henry, what is happening?
You know, Victor, if you keep coming down here, one of these days, we'll make you stay.
Anyway, where the hell did that Karen monster come from? Was she posted up on the wall the whole time? And that warning that she gave to Victor, yikes, yikes. That sounded like they've known all about Victor and his adventures whenever he comes into the tunnels. Because here's the eerie thing about it. It sounds like not only did they know, but they allowed Victor to come down there and to leave. Now, we know that the boy in white, he's been the reason that Victor has been able to survive in the town for all those years. And we also know that when he was in the tunnels, it was the boy in white that helped navigate Victor around the place, you know, to safety. Now, it's just interesting to me that the monsters knew and apparently let it slide. But it seems like Victor might be running out of them passes. You know, that monster lady was like, okay, Victor, you gonna F around and find out. You better quit playing these games now. Man, I hope Jasper is worth all it is. Listen, it could not be me. My anxiety, my stress, my blood pressure would have been through the roof going through them tunnels like that. But y'all let me know, what did you think about the monster's warning to Victor? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Julie sees Randall moving out of the bus. They both check in on each other to see how they're doing, and they go ahead and decide that now's a great time to hit that sticky, icky marijuana. Henry and Victor make it back to Victor's hideaway. Victor tells him that this was the place he used to sleep at night when he had to hide away from the monsters. He says that Jasper told Christopher a story about the history of this place, and they need Jasper to tell them that story again. Victor is determined to make that dummy talk. Okay, a couple of things here. Victor finally has Jasper, but the real question here is, how is he actually going to get Jasper to talk? You know, now my theory here is that Victor is not going to be able to make him talk. Since Jasper was talking to Christopher, then I think the best person or the best way to get him to talk is that bring Jasper to Jade. You know, we know that both Jade and Christopher, they share a lot of similarities in the fact that they were obsessed with the symbol. We know that Christopher later turned on everyone and started killing folks. So if Jade is the key to get Jasper to talk, my other question is that actually a good thing? I mean, yes, learning the history of this place is vital to getting some answers, but the more people find things out in this place, the more dangerous things become. And I guess another thing to consider is, let's just say we get the story. Can we trust this dummy? You know, like, is that going to be reliable? Anyway, what do you guys think is going to be the key for getting Jasper to talk? And do you have any other theories about this dummy? Let me know. Fatima lays back for her ultrasound with Christy. As Christy looks around, she unfortunately is having some difficulty in seeing anything. She reveals that Fatima is actually not pregnant. Fatima asks for a second opinion, and they do take a second look. However, there's still nothing there. Ellis says that they need to tell them the truth. Huh? What? So she's not pregnant? What? I am confused. I am perplexed. I am bewilderment. Like, what the hell is making Fatima eat trash sandwiches by day and be a whole vampire by night? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, I don't know what to believe now. Could all this stuff just be in her mind? I mean, we do know that this place will play tricks on your mind, you know, and make you think certain things, or maybe even have you seeing certain things. But I don't know. Maybe she's not carrying the seed of Satan, but instead this might confirm other people's theories that maybe Fatima is turning into a monster. You know, I mean, listen, I don't like this, because I don't know what to think, you know. But listen, we got a couple options. A, she's got a demon baby on deck. B, she's turning into a monster. C, it's all in her head. Or D, she's turning into a monster and having a demon baby. I think I'm going to go with D, just to cover all my bases. But you all let me know what is going on. Do y'all believe that she has a baby? Does she not have a baby? Is she turning into a monster? Is this all in her head? Whatever you think, please let me know. Meanwhile, back at Colony House, Elgin is hanging up his picture for the collage no one asked for until he sees the kimono lady in the background of Fatima's picture. Just then, the same ghoulish lady breathes her hot breath on Elgin's neck and says that she can help everyone go back home. She then disappears. Jade and Ethan continue trying to figure out the pattern with the numbers. Jade tells Tabitha that the Krusty Yankui kids are not trying to actually hurt her. Just then, Tabitha sees a drawing of the totems that were around the cabins. She recalls 3 red stones, and Jade all but confirms that he saw them. She says that she had the same recurring nightmare where she saw the same things in her nightmare. Okay, let's back up. Elgin and this kimono lady, she's starting to get a little pushy, okay? And y'all know, and tell me if you thought this, maybe it was just me. Y'all know her breath stink. It has to stink. I mean, I'm under the impression that it probably smells like old fish and booty. Like, then again, Elgin also doesn't bathe, so it probably doesn't bother him anyway. But she's promising him that she can get everybody home. Now, I don't know if I can trust this. I mean, who is this thriller lady? You know, where did she come from? Is she like another version of whatever the boy in white is? I don't really trust her, but then again, I'm curious to see if maybe she can help in some way. The only thing that comes to mind, though, that gives me a little caution is, like, we kind of went through this with Sarah. Y'all remember Sarah was like hearing voices in her head telling her that all you got to do is kill Ethan and everyone will, you know, go home and everyone will be safe. But then again, this isn't a voice in Elgin's head, so maybe this could be different. I don't know. You guys let me know. Are we trusting the kimono lady? Are we not? Like, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Okay, as for Tabitha, let me just say that I am so happy that she's got Ethan on the job. Okay, y'all know I believe that Ethan is pretty much a key to a lot of this stuff. He may mess around and figure out the key to this puzzle for Jade, actually. But anyway, Tabitha immediately recognized those totems and called out those same 3 red stones. Now, the fact that she had this reoccurring nightmare as a little girl, I do find that pretty interesting. Remember back in season 1 with Abby, she also talked about how she remembered a strange dream that she had when she was a little girl. Now, given how it seems dreams can play some sort of role in this place, I'm sure Tabitha's dream probably does hold some key information here. Those 3 red stones, I think that they look like sacrificial, you know, stones that maybe the Ankui kids were killed on or something like that. My bigger question here, though, is what the hell was coming from above Tabitha, the scared little Tabitha? What was that looking down on her? What was she looking up at that terrified her so much? Was it the cicada monster or was it some other evil entity? Anyway, it seems like Tabitha is having some sort of, I don't know, deja vu event, or maybe, just maybe, she's been in this town before. You know, I mean, maybe that's a possibility. Clearly, we can't trust her memory at this point. Now, I don't think that she's actually been to the town before because, you know, how did she get there? When did she get there? And how would she get out? We already heard earlier that, you know, according to Miranda, nobody has been able to get out. And we know that Tabitha is the first and only one to make it out. So I'm gonna kind of throw that theory away that she's actually physically been there before. But I do have a theory about Tabitha and why her dream ties into the larger story in From. I'm guessing she just had a dream or a vision similar to how Miranda was having her own dreams of the town. And this was before Miranda even made her way into the town. So my best guess here is that what I mentioned in my previous video, and let's just call it the Avatar theory. Since we know that Miranda confirmed that they were the chosen ones, like there were previous chosen ones, and she could see all of them, right? I think this memory of Tabitha may actually be a previous chosen one's memory, perhaps. If you haven't seen Avatar, and no, I'm not talking about the big giant blue people, the Avatar is basically a spiritual figure who is reincarnated after every lifetime. In each reincarnation, the Avatar will have knowledge and memories of their past lives. So I think that this might be what's going on with Tabitha here in episode 6. Anyway, what do you think about this revelation with Tabitha? Please share your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, that's it for this episode, and this is the point where I give you guys my review on this episode. My favorite part was probably with Victor and Henry when they were in the tunnels. Love the amount of tension and suspense that was there. I'm still taken back with the whole Fatima pregnancy thing. I like how the writing so far is adding a new wrinkle with that. I thought the acting between Jim and Tabitha was top notch in the beginning. There were a few slower moments, you know, kind of like with Kenny and maybe even with Randall, Julie, and Marielle. Like, I thought that could have been explored a little bit more. A couple of decent teases with Elgin too, but not the strongest cliffhanger with the ending. So for this episode, I think I'll go ahead and give it a 7.5 out of 10. Again, solid episode, entertaining, but not mind-blowing or having you on the edge of your seat. All right, so you guys let me know, what did you rate this episode on a scale from 0 to 10? Let me know your rating in the comments down below. And hey, in case you missed it, I just posted my interview with Tabitha and Henry. Please be sure to go check that out. I will have some other fun From content for you all that you are not going to want to miss. So once again, make sure that you are subscribed and you turn on those notifications so that you don't miss it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next week. If you're new here and you like what you see, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss out the next time I drop a video. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.